Afternoon. My name is Gregg Cohen. I'm the District Attorney of Tehama County. Simply put, what has occurred within our Northern California rural county is simply the mass murder, shooting, rampage of a deranged, paranoid killer. He has taken the lives of 5 separate individuals and has shot an additional 9 victims, 2 of them children, men, women, and children. The name of the shooter, as many of you know, his name is Kevin Jansen Neal, N-E-A-L. He has an AKA of Kevin Smith. His date of birth is March 28, 1978. He is now the confirmed mass murderer who took the lives, as I mentioned, of 5 innocent victims here in Tehama County. He was being prosecuted by this office, which is the Tehama County District Attorney's Office, for several charges. Several counts of assault with a deadly weapon, a firearm, a count of robbery, a count of assault with a deadly weapon by knife, as well as false imprisonment of 2 of his victims. The case involved Mr. Neal confronting 2 of his female neighbors, firing shots at them, and then jumping a fence, ending up in the stabbing of one, the stealing of a cell phone, and holding them hostage for a period of time. The incident occurred back January 31st, 2017. As I mentioned, there were 2 separate female adults. Both were shot at, and one was stabbed by Neal. Back in January, Neal was arrested for his crimes. It was January 31st. He was taken to jail by the Tehama County Sheriff's Office. He was jailed. He was informed of his bail, and he did bail out. I just want to mention that all of us who live in the United States, based on the Constitution, have a right, upon being arrested, to be admitted to bail. This is not only constitutional law within the U.S., but each state constitution, and in our state, Penal Code Section 1271 dictates that anyone arrested for a non-capital crime has a right to bail. In Defendant Neal's case, his bail amount was set by what's called a county bail schedule. That's interpreted by the people at the jail staff, and his bail at the time he was arrested was $160,000. That was while he was confined to jail. He was able to post bail or make bail, make that $160,000 amount, and was released directly from the Tehama County Jail. He did not appear in court prior to his release. Our office, the Tehama County District Attorney's Office, was not involved whatsoever in the setting of bail or in his release. No matter how frustrating it is for our office, whether it's this case or many others, defendants and their victims are often dissatisfied with the fact that people are admitted to bail. Someone charged with a crime, as long as it's a non-capital crime, which means not a death penalty sentence is available for that crime, has the right to be admitted to bail. Upon Neal being released on bail, the two female victims in this case were contacted by the Victim Witness Division of our office. As I mentioned, they were defendant's neighbors. Defendant came back home. Neal came back home directly upon being released from jail, and the 2 victims were scared and concerned of Neal attacking them. Neal harassed them repeatedly since being out on bail by repeatedly calling the California Department of Forestry, or CAL FIRE, claiming that he smelled smells, believing them to be manufacturing methamphetamine. Simply put, the victims were very scared of him. That's why our office petitioned the court early on in the case, in February, for a criminal protective order. We in California call it a CLETS order, C-L-E-T-S, and it's issued by a judge, and in this case it was filed and served on defendant Neal in court on February 28, 2017. The 2 protected parties named in the CLETS order Haley Susan Poland, and Diana Lee Steele. In looking at the protective order, there's a few terms that are probably very significant in this case, in the Neal case. Term 6 said that he must not harass, strike, threaten, assault, bother, molest the two protected females. Term 7 specifically said he must not own, use, possess, obtain a firearm or ammunition, and must surrender or sell any firearm in his possession upon demand. It also allowed for the search of defendant's home if he failed to surrender such firearms. Term 11, Term 12, and 13 all dealt with him not being able to contact by any means either of the protected parties. So he was prohibited from contacting them directly, indirectly, or by a third party. I want to just mention briefly a little bit of background on Neal, his criminal history. He does have no convictions. He does have several arrests in North Carolina, and again, no convictions. Why the convictions issue is important is that prior to the Klutz order, he was a person who could legally own and possess firearms. In 1989, he was arrested, again in North Carolina, for disorderly conduct, as well as obstructing or delaying a peace officer. In 1992, he was arrested for possession with intent to sell or deliver marijuana. In 2006, he was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon with serious injury. And in 2013, here in California, he was arrested for a hit-and-run charge. Again, all arrests, no convictions. And with no convictions for either a felony or a prohibiting misdemeanor, he was allowed to own or possess firearms, again, up until the time the judge issued the Klutz order. I want to switch gears just for a minute and talk a little bit about victim witness. I mentioned that our victim witness was in contact with the two victims in the case we're prosecuting, but I want to talk about the victims, all of the victims who were involved in his senseless shooting that occurred yesterday. What the office does, it assists victims in victims of crime in several ways. First, I want to talk about being in Rancho Tehama yesterday. That's the location where the shooting occurred. My victim witness component of the office was there yesterday. We have contacted several victims in the late afternoon and early evening hours. We contacted victims and their families to hopefully help them begin the long process of healing. The process of identifying exactly who our victims are remains today, and that's our issue for today. We want to know about your experiences yesterday. If you encountered the gunman, if you were somebody who was at the school, if you were someone involved in a traffic collision with Neal, if you were shot at, if your home was shot at, if he brandished a firearm at you, we want to know. We want you to please come forward. The best way to do that is to contact our victim witness office. I'm going to give you that information shortly. But I also want to touch upon the fact that we have begun the process of working with the school, particularly Corning Elementary School District as a whole. Superintendent Rick Fitzpatrick was on scene yesterday, working with his staff to begin the process of counseling and healing, not only for the staff at the school, certainly the children at the school, but anyone else who was affiliated with that school on yesterday's date. So that's really what the focal point of our victim witness work will be, is getting those services to the kids, to the staff, and to those family members that were affected yesterday. I mentioned our Victim Witness Division. One of its main functions is to assist victims in applying for California Victims Benefits. Those are monies that come from the state. Some possible benefits that may be useful in this situation are providing for counseling services, of course medical treatment or medical bills, and other help related to any of these crimes that occurred yesterday. The location of the office is here at the DA's office. We are located at 444 Oak Street, Red Bluff, California. Our zip is 96080. Our telephone number is 530-592-5500. 527-4296. An additional number is same area code, 527-3053. We really would like to get the word out that anyone affected yesterday who thinks they might have been a victim, please come forward, let us know. Tomorrow in Rancho Tehama, which is of course the area where this rampage occurred, we are going to be there fully staffed with our victim witness component of the office. We're going to be there from 2 o'clock to 7 o'clock in what is the community hall or community center located right next to the post office. We would like anyone in the RTR community who hears this to get the word out and impress upon those you know who were affected yesterday to stop by hopefully sometime between 2 and 7 so we can help identifying those people who we can provide assistance to and get some perhaps assistance in the form of money or counseling services. That won't be the only day we'll be available to do this. We believe tomorrow should be a great day to kick this off, and the best way again to contact us is either tomorrow directly or our phone number 527-4296. I appreciate everyone's willingness to hopefully make me look good on this video. Thank you.